Alright, we've got a great video gift for you on the John Deere 2630 GreenStar3 display. We see a lot of common issues on these units. They cracked glass, glue leaking out, a bubble in the screen, delamination, frozen cut response. All of those issues are fixed with our new updating gel-free design. So we're going to show you how to put that in. You can also have a mail-ordered service done, saving you thousands of dollars, and updating your unit to the new design. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So stay tuned and we will show you all of that stuff coming up here. This is the John Deere 2630 GreenStar3 display that frequently has delamination, a delaminated bubble around the edges. Due to the preview, we can show you the inside of that unit. All of that glue is leaked out, causing a huge mess, causing all sorts of problems. And now let's dive right in here and get started. Alright, so if you're having those problems, your options are to buy a remanufactured John Deere unit, which loses your data, it's expensive. You can find a digitizer for 20 bucks or so and try to replace it using your old LCD. It never works. It's a huge mess. Who tried it. Or you can find cheap parts online. They also don't work. We've tested those as well. So we recommend the DIY Repair Kit here or mail-in service. You can find that at mtcscreens.com. This is the highest quality set you're going to find. It's gel-free. It's updated with factory OEM anti-glare. And if you go to mtcscreens.com, you'll see the added section at the top. Just like 2630, you'll see all sorts of information and frequently asked questions about the GS3 unit. And you can choose your mail-in service or DIY repair kit, whatever you prefer. Alright, now we're going to show you the parts and supplies list needed to complete the DIY repair kit. Have a look at that and make sure everything is secured before starting your job. Alright, all these video instructions you're going to see here are only for MTC screens replacements. If you use anything else, it may cause permanent damage to your unit. We're not responsible for that, so do please keep that in mind. So once you have your 2630 display unit out of your tractor on a workbench, in all of the parts and supplies listed, we're going to go ahead and get started here, and that is going to be a preview of a bubble delaminated unit. We're going to show what that delamination is, why it happens, but it's really an material failure. The glue inside the display unit over time just leaks out and separates. There's another one we just repaired here that you saw. That was a nice installation. Much worse delamination than this one, but it does vary. And there's the new DIY repair kit. It's a new touchscreen digitizer, nice and thick. As you can see, that glass, it's a nice matte finish. And also the LCD is included as well. It's a color match, brightness match LCD, so it's going to look perfect. It's not going to have any concessions or generic aftermarket look like some of the other ones you may find. We are replacing both the LCD and the digitizer, and that has many advantages. You'll see once we open the unit here why, but that is very, very important. A lot of people want to just install the $20 digitizer from eBay or China, and it just doesn't work. We tried it. It's a mess. It's dangerous. And there's some of the other equipment over in need. The drill, but then when it's drill bit is going to be used, some isopropyl with alcohol is going to break down the glue residue inside the unit if you want to clean it up a little bit. You've got a crescent wrench, some pliers, a few Torx drivers, a T10, a T15, and a T9 for the small speaker cover screws, and then small pliers. The pliers will be in your installation kit, and that black scraper will be in your installation kit. We might actually start including an RTV silicone as well. Depends on how busy the sales are, but yeah, check the description for what's all included at time of purchase. And also a 5/16 socket. So the first step of this is going to you're removing this brown back metal cover. So I'm going to go around here with either a T10 or a T15. I think the T10 fits. The T15 might be a little bit more secure. I don't know. Just go around there and remove all of those screws around the printer. A side note, we're going to want to keep all of the screws separate. There's about 3 or 4 different screws in this unit, and they all have to go back in the same spot. So keep these perimeter housing screws labeled and separate. Then you can move on to the T9 screws. Just a little bit smaller, and there's 4 of them that hold the speaker cover in. So remove all 4 of those. Once again, keep those separate as the speaker cover housing cover. And then you're going to lift off the metal cover. Very simple to do. It just lifts right off. And there's going to be a little wire connected to your board. We're going to separate that as well. It just pops off just like that. We're going to get the camera angle here. This is a friction fit plug. You just grab it firmly, pull it away from the main board, and then just set that aside. Loosen up your USB and Ethernet covers. We're going to need to access those. And then if there's any plugs on the video port, remove that as well. So now we can lift off with a lot of caution, lift up this housing and tilt it over. And there's going to be a connection on the left side we do not want to whip or damage. So as you loosen that cover with all the screws removed, you're going to lift it and pivot it to the left, just like is shown here in this video. And you'll see a blue cable on the left side. We're going to want to disconnect that. So that's why it's important not to use too much pressure. We're just going to go ahead and use the mini pliers. These are specially designed for removal. These are in the repair kit. Unlock that collar and just like that, and then pull away the blue cable. And then now you can remove your cover safely with all the connections removed. All right, so now there's a few connections on the board we're going to separate here. We're going to get a better look at that one. This, on the top left, it's just a little flat connector. We'll show you again how it just kind of snaps into place. Just kind of with your tool, it's like a lift up and it will pivot 90 degrees, freeing up that cable. Next, this is just like the other one where you're going to want to evenly just click up on that collar to unlock the flat flex connector. This tool does come in the DIY repair kit. It's really good to remove the connectors without damaging them. And there we go. We're going to move on to a final connection on the right side. This is your LCD connection. You'll want to use your X-Acto knife to just separate that seal, a little purple sticker, maybe a different color, and then just pull that away. Just the friction fit. It slides in only one way. So make sure when you remove that, you pull it straight, and then when you reinsert it, have it straight also. So with all the cables removed on the main board, we're going to go ahead and use your Torx bit to remove all of these. So once again, these are separate. These are the main board screws. Remove all of them as shown here. Keep them separate and make sure they go back in the same spot when you retighten. Then we're going to remove the 4 silver screws. These are going to be quite a bit longer than the other ones. Keep these separate as well. These fold on your secondary board. We don't need to remove the secondary board, but they do. You see the cap there. Just remove them like that. So now the board is wholly held in place with some black tabs on the edges. So bend those plastic tabs away like you see in that video at the top. And that's going to free up your main board. And it will lift away from the metal housing. You can be very gentle with this board. Obviously, it's electronics, so you don't want anything to be damaged. Just set that aside for now, and we'll come back to it later. So now we can see how the LCD is attached to your housing. We're We'll remove the other section on that video cable. Once again, just slice the tape seal, the little round sticker, and then pull that away. We're going to reuse that cable on the new LCD. We're going to change over to the 5/16 socket. You can use a hand tool. Just go ahead and remove all 4 of the washers and the nuts that hold that LCD in. Okay, so now your LCD is held in place with only the front black bezel. So we have to remove the black bezel in the front. Those are all heat crimped into place. Like you can see the little round tops there. Those are like heat stakes. We need to basically cut those off or remove those. And in this video, we're going to use a drill with a 1/8 drill bit. You may have a tool that works better to cut those rounded tops off. But we just got to go around the entire outside perimeter. There's a lot of them. And then either drill the nut, we'll cut them off somehow. That way we can pull off that black bezel. So the drill seemed to work pretty well. Well, if you have patience and a steady hand, just kind of go through and drill it out until the top is removed. And like you can see there, it's sort of straightened out. Wouldn't hurt to use a vacuum or something, or maybe vacuum up all those plastic bits before reinstalling anything. Obviously, you want to be careful here. You don't want the drill bit to slip and damage anything, but just work your way around the edge and just drill out those tops of the heat stakes. All right, with all of those heat straight tops removed, we'll go to the front, and that black bezel is what we're going to want to remove. So you can kind of see how that is that little black tool, because when you come in your DIY repair kit, it is going to go around on the panel, lift up to separate the tape on right there. So once we get this flipped over, you're going to see how it's attached. So there's a double siding tape that holds the glass cloth in, and then there's also a section around the outside that we're going to separate. So that little clear plastic thing is like a light reflector, so keep that separate. We're going to want to reuse that as well. It does fall out. It's just held in place with, I guess, gravity or friction when it's dropped in it. Now use your X-Acto knife to go around the outside perimeter. There's a silicone unseal adhesive that is holding these things in place. So just very careful. Obviously, it's a very sharp knife to store on the edge. Try and separate all of that tape, all of the silicone seal around the border. That's going to free up your black bezel and allow it to be reused. Now we can just pop that black bezel away from the metal housing. Once again, it's the double-sided tape. It's the black silicone adhesive around the border, and then those heat crimp stakes on the backside that hold this thing in place. So all of those fasteners and adhesions removed, we can see how that is attached there. So we'll reuse that black bezel. It's not too difficult, but we'll move on to the next step here, which is the removal of the black original adhesive. So you can go around and get as much of this off. We're going to put another silicone seal here. So what we're trying to do is just remove the old silicone to allow space. Just really carefully go around the edge, and we want to cut that original dried R2B adhesive bead, and that's going to allow some space for your new R2B bead once we go to install the black bezel again. So just gently kind of go around this edge. Be very careful. You don't want to cut yourself. You don't want to cause any damage. And just try and separate that black silicone bead from the surface. Once you cut it away from both the flat surface and the side surface, it's pretty much free to lift up, and you can just pull it away. You can see all the old dried silicone get removed. It wouldn't hurt to have like a small shop vac or a small vacuum to clean up all the bits of sealants here that are laying around. We don't need those for the new installation. All right, so now that front housing piece is prepared from new parts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer over the threaded studs from the old LCD to the new LCD. Now, eventually we may add new studs to our new LCD, so you don't have to do this step. But for now, we'll have them transferred over. And be sure to check out the description to see if we're going to include new threaded studs or not. So you can see how that glue holds the glass to the LCD, and when you replace the digitizer only, you're reusing your old LCD that's full of glue. It's a big mess. We never recommend doing it. It always looks horrible too. There's bits of glue inside the new screen. There's dark spots. Tried it, it just doesn't work well. So this method is what we recommend. Replacing both the LCD and digitizer. So now we want to loosen these nuts that hold your LCD to the threaded stud. So just kind of go around and loosen them. We do have to transfer these over to the new LCD before installation. These threaded studs are how the LCD is held in place. So all we're doing now is preparing these for removal. Okay, with the nuts removed, you can remove each screw, but you do have to make some room by like kind of lifting up on the digitizer. Obviously this is glass and it's going to crack when you remove it, so be very, very careful. Use eye protection. Be gentle with it. You don't want shards of glass flying everywhere, but that's how you remove them. And once again, if we sell enough of these, we'll add the threaded studs to be new LCDs, so you don't have to mess with the step. But for the reasons of this video, we'll just show you how to do it. If you look at your new LCD that you received from us and it does have the threaded studs already installed, you can just ignore this step. You don't need to transfer those over. The kind of process is just peel away a little bit of that glass and lift it away so we can transfer it to the new LCD. So the old glass, the old digitizer, the old LCD, we're going to have to scrap that out. Those are no longer used. All right, so now we're going to clip those threaded studs in here. So insert the screw so that the long side comes out the back, the white side, and the flat side is towards the black visible side. And then secure those in place with the nut. It does not have to be very tight. Just hand tight like that is all. No need to wrench down on or anything. It just holds it in place temporarily. Yeah, one thing, if you look at here, you'll see that you received from us and they already have these screws installed. You can just completely ignore the last step of removing the old one. We probably will add these at some point in the near future, just to make it a lot easier for you during the installation. Alright, so now we're going to drop the LCD into the housing. So you'll notice that there's a metal connection on the back of that, shown on the bottom right. That is going to go through the opening in the housing, so that way you can access that cable. We're also going to route that little flat flex connector through a hole in the housing so it can go into the main board. So those are the two things we want to do here is you can see where it goes in that top little slot, not the larger slot, but the top one. Just slide it through there and make sure it doesn't get pinched or anything coming out the backside. The threaded studs will go through the holes in the metal housing. And that kind of wraps around that little guide there, as you saw. So now the LCD can be tightened down a little bit with the nuts and the lock washers. No need to over tighten these, just barely finger tight is all it needs. It's plastic, it will distort and damage the LCD if you tighten it too much. Just go until it barely touches the surface of the housing and maybe a quarter turn at most. Obviously, these are lock washers, so the lock side will be down towards the metal housing like you see here. And the lock side making the serrated washer with the little teeth on it. That's going to go between the actual washer and the metal housing. So our LCD is in place. Everything is secured. It wouldn't hurt to vacuum up any dust or debris from the housing so it's not visible on your new glass. We have the new wire guided down through the curved slot to make sure we install the new reflector as well. I'm sorry, not the new reflector, the old reflector. And this little ribbon cable goes into the slot as before. Make sure it goes in straight and make sure it's going the right way. Nice and even. You don't want to bend any pins here. It'll just gently slide right into place. And then we're going to drop the main board back onto the housing. You can see the holes line up. You can see those plastic tabs that secure the board to the base. But you can see those all line up. Once everything's lined up nicely, you can clip it back down with those tabs to hold it in place while you tighten it. So, extremely important to not over tighten these screws either. Just finger tight is fine. On this driver in the video, it's electric driver. It's set to a very delicate clutch, so it's not over tightening anything. So those 4 silver longer screws go on that black plastic vent. And then the other shorter screws, they hold the actual board to the housing. So go around there and tighten that it's just until it's finger tight. Alright, now we can reconnect the top thin cable. Make sure that's in the housing all the way in and secured, and then lock it down. It does help to hold it in place while you tighten it to make sure nothing shifts while it's locked. This one is just like the other side, nice and straight, even in all the way. Don't bend any pins while inserting the connector. Alright, so now our main board is connected. The available cables are connected. Then the next step is to place the digitizer on top of the LCD. Alright, so we're going to peel away the protective layer, the protective plastic film from the LCD. Yeah. And now we're going to apply the double-sided adhesive tape to the LCD surface. Now, your LCD might come with this already pre-installed. If that's the case, no need to do this again. But this as a heads up, it may not be there, and you may have to apply the adhesive tape. So if that's the case, just kind of do it as you see in this video. I've got to press the tape strips down as you go through and try and get full coverage so there's a full seal of tape so no dust gets in to the gap between your LCD and your digitizer. The digitizer is the glass touchscreen piece. It's the other piece that comes in your kit. The better of a seal you have here is the better. This will resist dust, intrusion, and other issues going forward. And then we have the double-sided tape ply that's going to secure the digitizer to the LCD. Once again, if your LCD already has this tape applied, you don't need to do that. You can just basically start here and remove the backing strips. Okay, so now's the process where we're going to place the digitizer to the LCD. This is important because you have two things to do here. You're going to route that cable just like is shown, with the black side towards the top. It is possible to flip this backwards, so we don't want to do that. You want to insert it just like it's shown here with the black side of the flat flex cable through the top. Remove the protective backing of film, obviously. Use your air duster to dust off any dust or any sort of debris that may have collected. We want to make sure this is as dust-free as possible because this sort of seals the inside of the LCD and the digitizer permanently. So grounded them just like that. And now you want to place it's as close to the center as possible. You'll see around the digitizer there's like a thin rectangle. Try and align that as evenly as possible. So here we're looking at the edges of the silver LCD frame to the black. You can kind of look there. Try and get it up even left to right, even top to bottom. And once you get it as close as possible, you can just drop into place. There you can see we have a really good alignment. All the way on the right side, top, bottom, left, everything is really even as far as like overlap. And we'll probably get there if you just press it down firmly around that tape strip. That's where the other side came out. It's a guide just like the other one. So slip it down below that, the alignment guide. Insert it into the cable. So once again, that collar is locked versus unlocked. In this image, it's unlocked, so we're going to press it in all the way and then just lock it right now, holding it in straight all the way in. It's nice. That's a completely secured connection. That's how it's supposed to look when it's done. Right, so now we're going to set the housing to the left. We're going to want to connect to that blue cable. Just like how we removed it, we'll make sure that it's unlocked with that little special tool that comes in your DIY repair kit. It can be kind of tricky because it has some pearl to it from sitting in the housing over all the years, but try and get it all the way in and straight in that connector and then lock it in place. And then you can drop that housing in. Do take note on the right side, there is that cable that gets really close to the housing, so don't pinch that. Make sure that goes in, that cable right there, to make sure it goes in and isn't pinched between the two halves of the housing. But here we're putting its cast back on. And then we're going to go through and just reinstall all of those housing screws. No need to over tighten these either, just hang tight, it's fine. And then go ahead and place your speaker connector. This only goes on one way, it's just friction fit. And then put the screw for the speaker cover back on. These are those T9 screws. Alright, so now we're going to do a test fit of that black bevel and make sure it drops into place properly. If you have any binding up or if it's not sitting flat for any reason, it's usually due to excess glue buildup. The heat stake posts are bent or crooked and not going back into the holes as they originally did. If that's the case, just go ahead and remove the excess glue with isopropyl alcohol, or cut the heat stake posts off completely on the other side. We don't want those binding up and preventing the knife bezel from laying flat onto your glass. So that's what we're doing here, is just doing a quick test fit to make sure everything was going to go in properly. And once again, if those heat stake posts are causing you any problems or not sitting flat, just use side cutters and cut them off and not have to deal with that. Alright, now we're going to apply a very thin bead around the outside edge, just in the same spot with old black R2D silicone adhesive lens. We're just going to apply a thin bead, and that's going to hold it on the left side, and the right side, on top and bottom. You don't need to apply very much, just a thin bead here. And then we're going to go with it and add just a little bit around with old double-sided tape bond, just to help that seal up and prevent dust from getting inside your display unit in the future. So, doesn't need to be very much here, just a little bit. You can see we've cut off a lot of those heat stakes that were interfering with the fit. Now you want to align the bottom right, that little LED, that little light, the indicator light, align that one in place, and then just kind of drop the Drop everything else. You have stake posts left, you can drop those in. And make sure all the sides are nice and even, going all the way around. And just press that, secure it into place. Make sure everything is even and flush with the housing. And here we're going to apply just a couple quick clean, just the bulbous bezel in place while the silicone dries, and keeps it nice and flush for the customer. Alright, that's everything. Now we're going to move on to the final step of testing and calibration. If you got any excess RTD silicone, you can use your isopropyl alcohol to clean that up. It comes off very easily. Power up your unit. This is a bench test, but you can also put it in your tractor. It'll start up. The touch response won't be perfect right now, but we have not calibrated it yet. But we'll go into the settings here, as we can see, the bottom right button. And then we're going to go into your display, and then diagnostics, and then the tests. And once the test page comes up, you're going to have touchscreen calibration. And just follow the prompts on the screen, press and hold every X. That's going to adjust your system to recognize your new touchscreen that you just installed. Once again, this is the gel-free touchscreen. This has no gel coat to leak out. You're not going to have to worry about the delamination again. It is a permanent fix. That's the other main reason to install this, is just to have a one-and-done permanent fix without having to worry about it. So once that said success, you'll notice the touch response is much more accurate, and everything is very precise now. Just like that was language, saving you thousands of dollars instead of going the alternative routes. So finally, thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more repair videos, be sure to like and subscribe. If you'd like to order the touchscreen repair kit, you can check it out at mtcscreens.com. Or if you'd rather have the professional mail-in service done, just for a small amount extra, you can check that as well and send the unit in to us for professional installation.